Greetings, kindred. Welcome to the solar eclipse. So we've just had a lunar eclipse, and yeah, that was pretty cool actually. I found myself just like chilling and just doing bits and bobs around the house. Actually, I think I started my spring cleaning. I started it, but I didn't finish it. But anyway, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. And as you can see, we've got another image here from timeanddate.com, which covers the eclipse. So as we can see, the darker colours here is where the eclipse will be mostly focused. And as it fades out, the eclipse becomes less and less visible. Now, it's only a partial eclipse. It's not a full eclipse, but still, it is an eclipse. So with a solar eclipse, it's where the moon comes in between the earth and sun. It's a masculine energy, and it does really represent like the outer world, whereas the lunar eclipse, the feminine, represents our inner world. So it normally represents like global events, like there's major shifts, especially in perceptions. There can be crisis moments that emerge with that as well. But also, it's about a disconnection to our sense of reality, as eclipses do. Actually, both eclipses do tend to disconnect us with a sense of reality. Do you know what I mean? But just in different ways. So, this eclipse will begin overall at 8:50 UTC. Reach its maximum at 10:47 UTC and will completely come to an end at 12:43 UTC. So yeah, I think we can expect some kind of like definitely some eruptive moments. You know, this is a very triggering time. Solar eclipses are very triggering. But a lot of the aspects and the planetary placements are also coming across as, pretty triggering, especially since the Black Moon Lilith is quite heavily involved again. So let's get into the chart wheel for the solar eclipse. So the new moon's actually at 10:57 in GMT. Now GMT and UTC are the same at the moment until Sunday. Actually, I'm recording this on Thursday, so is that the 27th? Yeah, I'm recording this on the 27th, so 2 days beforehand. So our clocks go back on the 31st on Sunday. So it'll be at 10:57 GMT, but it'll be at 6:57 EDT and at 21:57 in the AEDT time zone. So apologies, because like the lunar eclipse, I forgot to give the timings for the EDT and the AEDT. So apologies for that. So as we can see, the new moon will begin in the sign of Pisces. Now, funny enough, as the solar eclipse reaches its max, so does the new moon, like 10 minutes after. So there's only going to be 10 minutes before the new moon begins and solar eclipse reaches its maximum. So it's pretty close. And, there's a lot going on here in this chart as well. So, we've had a lot going on in Pisces. We've had Mercury and Venus retrograde in Pisces. There's still, I think Mercury's still in retrograde until, is Mercury out of retrograde now? Let me just see. I have to close because Venus is right on top of Mercury here. Yeah, and them two have been conjunct as well in the sign of Pisces. So there's been a heavy influence with the Piscean energy, throughout the lunar eclipse, the Mercury retrograde, and now the solar eclipse. So it's a very emotional energy. And there's a stellium here as well. You know, when you've got a cluster of planets in a sign, it's a stellium. And stelliums can be quite overwhelming. They can be very competitive. And we do have like Saturn, the North Node, Mercury and Venus and Neptune all in conjunction here. So, yeah, I mean, it's quite heavy going, but I mean, the moon in Pisces alone, I mean, fortunately, the moon isn't involved in this little stellium here because it would make it really kind of like, it really would be a little bit out there. But the Pisces moon itself is very, very sensitive, also very psychologically vulnerable as well. Although it's 16 degrees, I mean, 16 is quite a fortunate number. So I feel that, you know, there's going to be a lot of spiritual kind of experiences throughout this solar eclipse as well. I feel like even though there's a lot of triggers going on here, I just feel that there's also this beautiful energy coming out of it, this very creative energy that's coming out of it. You know, Saturn and Neptune. I mean, this is like reality versus dreams. And with Mercury, Venus, and the North Node in the middle, I feel some of us could be kind of a little bit off balance, you know? So the only way to really expel that energy is really through creative art. And, you know, most of the time it is because one, it releases any stagnant energy, and two, it's quite inspirational as well. So, you know, we don't have to be a maestro or, you know, fantastic at painting or drawing or anything along those lines. It's even, you know, just singing, chanting, praying, you know, doing things where we can feel good about ourselves. There is definitely a need here as well for quiet time or for private time, time where we want to shut ourselves away from the world. I mean, that's for some of us, especially if we've got planets in Pisces or even the opposite sign of Virgo. I mean, we do have the Black Moon Lilith here in Virgo as well. I mean, she's flitting between Libra and Virgo at the moment because her movements are very back and forward, you know, so she's in opposition to Chiron. Now, this is a very triggering of wounding, whether that be physical or psychological or emotional. And, you know, they're both making this T square towards Mars, who's at 22 degrees in Gemini. So I really do feel it's a restriction. You know, there's a restriction here on expressing ourselves, maybe verbally, maybe creatively, but it's like maybe there's a block there that's holding us back. And normally the Black Moon Lilith represents our fears or, you know, our shadow. So I really do feel there's an energy brewing here as well with this T square aspect of like, of eruptions. Do you know what I mean? Like verbal eruptions or just mind blowing kind of situations as well. Yeah, so with the Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, it really does represent like not feeling confident about ourselves, not feeling confident about our abilities. You know, so there could be anger issues that are brewing. Anyone that's kind of struggling with anger issues at the moment, there could be a lot of triggers around that right now. So maybe, you know, if we are feeling triggered, I just feel that we need some quiet time alone, maybe taking nature walks, um, water therapies, salt baths, walking by lakes, sitting by lakes or sea or, you know, wherever there's a body of water. because we also in this stellium, I mean, with Neptune conjunct, Mercury, it really can give us a vivid imagination. So sometimes things can appear to be worse than what they are. So maybe there is events that are going on because solar eclipses do trigger global events. Maybe we're imagining them to be more than what they are. Or it could be that it's a brewing, there is a brewing worldwide right now anyway. It just feels like it's been like that anyway for the last, I would say, 5 years. There's just been this energy of constant like worry, constant like stress. If it's not one thing, it's another. Goalposts keep shifting. It's just been continuous. And a lot of people are exhausted and have been. So we've been going through these bouts of exhaustion already. So it could be that many of us are feeling psychologically exhausted. Some of us may be feeling emotionally exhausted. Or even like when it comes to creative blocks, it's like we're just not in the right space to be able to express ourselves. So I would just say do it anyway. The problem with Virgo is we can be a little bit too much of a perfectionist, but sometimes we just need to expel that energy, whether it's like successful or not. Because sometimes there's an energy overload where it's not going to come out how we want it to. So maybe expel that and try again. And again with Neptune in conjunction with Mercury, and Mercury is still in retrograde actually, yeah. We can tend to have quite a vivid imagination, but still we can also lose touch with reality, but with Saturn in the mix, he does tend to keep us focused. So Neptune and Saturn are at odds with each other. The North Node here as well at 5 degrees. It's like, again, I feel there's another shifting of goalposts here. And we also have Ceres at 15 degrees in Aquarius. So, with the number 15, I always say, it's about an abuse of power, but it's repercussions for that abuse of power. Ceres represents to me, she represents like childhood abuse or neglect. Aquarius is all about the humanitarian. So I just feel there's an unfairness there that's being exposed at the moment globally, which we already know is occurring, but obviously there's going to be a significance to that with this new moon solar eclipse. Where some of us can be in the realm of reality, there's others that are in avoidance of it. Because sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming to face up to facts. So that can be quite frustrating for those of us that want to find solutions, come up with solutions for what's going on in our world at the moment. So, with the North Node in conjunction with Saturn here, this is all about conforming to social expectations, but we can kind of sell ourselves too cheaply. So, we just need to watch out for that. I mean, Venus conjunct the North Node, this is very karmic, but it is about the economy and relationships. It's all about wastefulness as well. And we're seeing that being exposed as well in certain parts of the world. We're seeing that there has been waste. I mean, the good thing is here we have this kite still going on. So, I mean, it is the stellium here with Mars in trine to the stellium, in trine to the goddess Vesta. and back in trine to Mars. And we have Uranus, who's at 0 degrees in Taurus on top of this sky. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some sudden changes, especially when it comes to our morals, our principles, our spiritual values. And I think I did cover this sky actually in my Mercury retrograde article, which I will link below, because we are still in the Mercury retrograde at the moment, so that's still having an effect. And really, Mercury retrograde was all about brain fog. The lunar eclipse was all about brain fog. And I think we're still a little bit there. Do you know what I mean? But there's all this nervous energy that's going on as well. And, I have had a lot of people come up to me complaining of stomach issues. So, just look after your health right now, because there is a lot going on, I feel, around this solar eclipse. Like I said, it's going to be a very triggering time. And, the best way we can kind of navigate through that is by, trying to keep ourselves as calm as possible, but trying to be aware of what's reality and what isn't reality. Do you know what I mean? Because there's just a lot of to-ing and fro-ing, especially with the goddess Vesta here in the sign of Libra, and she's in retrograde. So I just feel like, in opposition to Uranus, there's a lot of shifting there, a lot of shifting regarding our self-power, our ability to express ourselves freely, our ability to be creative, whether that's verbally or artistically. So, I just feel many of us will be kind of feeling a little bit restricted, although some of us may be feeling very ambitious. But I'm kind of feeling that's you know, more connected to corporations or political movements. And, I think the people in general are just very, very tired and exhausted right now. And solar eclipses and lunar eclipses can be quite a draining energy. The Mercury retrograde in Pisces is quite a draining energy. And also I just want to mention that I've done horoscopes as well for the season of Pisces. I don't do them, weekly or monthly. I do them per season of star sign. All my horoscopes will cover the whole of that star sign period of time. And I think the next lot of horoscopes will be out just before the sun moves into Aries, which I think is around about the 18th of April. So I'm already preparing them. So yeah, I will link the sun sign horoscopes down below as well. And I'm going to leave it there because my head is a little bit all over the place as well, So, but I am feeling very creative. I've been doing a lot of propagating for our allotment and for my garden. So there's a lot going on right now. Anyway, Kindred, as always, I'm sending you peace and much love. Take care.